Welcome back to my channel. My name is Blair if you're new here, and today's gonna be a quick video. I just wanted to talk about it because it keeps me accountable. I wanted to talk about the 2024 financial plan. We're gonna talk about where we started the year with the plan and then where we're at right now. And I think it's okay to change your goals as the year goes on, especially as things change, because we do set these a year in advance. So there's a lot that could be adjusted going forward. So originally my financial goal was to pay off my final student loan, personal student loan, not personal. Yeah, personal, I guess is what you would call it. So we have accomplished that. That's been ticked off. We're not going to worry about it. Now, my second two goals were to replenish my emergency fund, fill up my sinking funds, and then I wanted to save $5,000 for a new car just in anticipation that that time would be coming. So, as you're aware, if you've been watching my videos, you know I had to take a leave of absence for a month and a half to go home and take care of my mom for the month of July. Now that I'm back, I've been reviewing my financial situation because obviously my leave of absence was unpaid, so I had to pull money from my long-term emergency fund or long-term savings to sustain the bills while I was out during that time. So we kind of need to revamp where we're going with this. I feel like priority one right now is for me to, one, get my emergency fund filled back up, like my regular emergency fund. I try to keep $2,000 in there just in case. Obviously, I use that, it's been pulled out. There's not a lot. I did loan money to a sibling of mine, so I have money that's coming back from him to fill that. So I am going to plan on trying to get back to my 2,000 goal. I think right now I want to aim for 1,400, and then what he pays me back will go back into that. So first goal for me is to get my emergency fund back to 1,400, just emergencies, right? The second thing that I need to do for my long-term savings account is I pulled about $4,000 out of that to sustain bills. I want that refilled before the end of the year. I think that's more important than me saving money for a car when I don't need a car right this second. And I want that put back because that long-term emergency fund is like your long-term emergency. So if I lost a job or something, I could sustain my bills for at least 6 months. I want that put back just for a sense of security. This one may not necessarily be number 2 specifically, and I'm going to explain that. So the third thing, and this has been my third thing for a while, was to keep and fill my my sinking funds. This needs to happen. There are things that I know are coming up very quickly here in the next few months, and they need to be filled. I'm going to just give you a quick rundown of my sinking funds, kind of where I'm at and which ones are like really important, just so I can show you that. And then I'll give you a quick overview again of my actual financial goals as we're going to go through the rest of the year. So first sinking fund that I always have is Amazon. I like to keep $150 set aside, so when that subscription comes due every year, the money's there. Or if I buy movies, or my brother buys movies, I have the money to cover it right away until he pays me back. So right now that account's about $137. We're not far off, and that just charged, so I'm not as concerned with that. Car insurance is the second thing. I basically pay into my car insurance sinking fund every month as if it's a monthly payment. So every 6 months when that bill comes due, I have the full amount because it is cheaper to pay it in full if you can manage to do that. I try to aim to have $500 in this. Right now the account's at $479. And I just got the bill because that is due in September, but it is less than that amount, so I have enough to cover the 6-month total. The third thing that I have is what I call car registration and maintenance. I usually try to keep like $300 or $400, I think it was $300 in there. However, I do know from before I went back to Michigan, I had a mechanic like look over my car, make sure it was all good to drive home because it is like a 1,000-mile drive. He did mention that I may need to get new tires here shortly. So I want to anticipate that and start planning towards it So I think I'm going to bump my goal up on that sinking fund to $800. Right now there's only like 167 in there, and that will cover my registration and my inspection that has to be done in September as well. I don't like having that account that low, because sometimes when you go for an inspection, if they tell you, hey, this has to be fixed before we're going to pass you, I need to have the money to do that repair. So I really want to get on the ball of getting that caught back up. Fourth thing is my Christmas sinking fund. This one, I normally tried to save at least $1,000. However, I was bumping that up to $1,500 this year because I wanted to try to do like the angel tree situation, and just have some more money towards gifts. But if I can't get there, I can't get there. So I'm not going to like kill myself over it, but we do need to get that amped up. I'm at like $242 in there right now. Kind of need to get that going, seeing how Christmas is only a few months away and I need the funds in there to cover that. Clothes is another sinking fund. I aim to have 300. There's 262 in there. I'm not stressing on that one. I don't buy clothes that often. My home repair sinking fund, I like to have $1,000 in there. So if something breaks, or like for instance, before I left, my dishwasher quit working, but also like bug, like having pest control come out and spray and stuff. That cost me $400 for the year. I did not realize that was due in August. I did manage to pay that, no problem, just from the funds that were in my checking account. But we need to replenish that so when the next go around comes or another repair shows up, I have money. Right now there's only like $33 in that sinking fund, very low. I don't feel comfortable with that. So there's going to be a massive push onto the sinking funds, and in replenishing my emergency fund, just so those immediate upfront things are taken care of. And then, as I said, I think the replenishing what I took out of my long-term savings may be a longer saving process. Like it may go into next year. The next one is my household sinking fund. I aim for 300. I do have 300 in here. This covers things like cleaning supplies, toothpaste, shampoo, things that are not technically grocery items. I have been very fortunate though. My grocery budget is usually about $150 every 2 weeks. Most of the time I've been able to stay under that. Therefore I can afford the household items in my grocery budget. So I haven't really had to touch that, but it is here if I need it. I also have one called miscellaneous events. That one I aim to have 300 in. It's got 276 right now. That covers like birthday party gifts, random events that people invite me to, that kind of thing. So I can pull it out of here and if I haven't planned for it. I also have a sinking fund for Riley to cover any vet costs. His goal is at 500. Right now there's about 86 in there. Right before I went home, I did have to take him to the vet to have like annual visit, blood work, update some shots, things like that. So he should be good for the year, but I do like to get that refilled because if I'm hurting for money again, like when I go to do groceries, this can cover, you know, brushing shoes, Busy Bones, his dog food, that kind of thing. Fortunately, again, I have not had to touch this for that part, but I do want it built back up. So again, vet visits are covered. I also have a sinking fund for winter gas. Now this one is a priority to me. This and Christmas are the big ones. Winter gas, I usually try to save 500, I think it was, towards it. This year I want to bump it to 600. What I do with this, because I live in the South and we only run the heat usually December into like March, maybe April at the latest. And my gas bill is typically around 10 to 11 bucks. The way I do it is that I will cover up to $50 out of my paycheck towards the gas bill, and anything above that I pull from the sinking fund. So that's why I call it winter gas. It covers the excess of that bill in the winter time. So in the fall, it might start gradually going up $20, $30, you know, $40, and then it hits like big bills like $100 and stuff when I'm really running the heat consistently. So this one needs to get replenished before we start dropping in temperature, so I have the difference to cover that bill. And then the last thing I've been doing lately, and this isn't as big of a priority, is like a Sam's Club sinking fund. I want to get $250 in here. The goal was to set this up so that way I could pay for my own membership sometime soon. Right now I just go with friends that have the membership already, but I also want more in there than the membership to cover costs, because I don't go to Sam's but like once every couple months, and I do a stock up on like meats and stuff, which helps save with the grocery budget the rest of the parts of the time frame. So that one needs to be updated there, so that way the next time I gotta go, I have the funds that I need to pay for meats. But eventually I want to get my own Sam's membership so I can go whenever I want instead of depending on others. So that's kind of the quick rundown of my sinking funds and where we stand. So just as a recap, my goal, the plan is to, one, replenish my emergency fund in case an emergency arises. I want to get $1,400 put back in there. 3, I'm gonna kind of jump. So 3 will probably be the sinking funds, but that will be a big priority, trying to get things caught up before those winter bills start throwing in here and the holidays and stuff like that. And then kind of more of a long-term situation will be replenishing the $4,000 that I had to take out of my long-term savings to sustain my bills while I was out of town on my leave of absence. I think there's nothing wrong with revamping this, because life circumstances definitely change. And again, when we set these goals at the beginning of the year, they're not always going to be the same as time goes on. Plus, I didn't plan on a leave of absence. I'm thankful that God provided me with that long-term savings and that I had the money to pay for that time frame to be able to assist and help with my mom, but I do want to put it back so that way I feel comfortable again. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's what I'll be doing to update my 2024 financial goals. I'm thankful I've knocked 1 off the list, and I'll still technically do 2. It's just the 3rd one we're gonna null and void, and that's saving for a car. So hopefully this was useful for you, maybe interesting. As always, I hope everybody has a blessed day.